Hello, we are Baum and Leahy, an artist duo based between UK and Denmark. We've been researching and envisioning futures that could emerge from integrating the Holobiont as a central figure within global food and health systems. Our scenario is called Holobiont Gardens. We start 11 years into the future, in 2035, and then go back in time to describe how we got here.
The world is vibrant. Years of silent threads, weaving through damaged landscapes, have spun a soft scaffold for new vibrations, new life. Ways of being, living and thinking have fractured and recombined, inside out and across the planet. Now we're growing in the crevices and stretching to the sky. We are animals, plants, fungi, microbes, minerals, matter. We are air and water, vibrations and waves. We still name all these entities we are, different, distinct, yet connected through invisible ecologies.
Over the course of the last 7-year cycle of renewal, technologies guided by traditional ecological knowledge, TEC, have converged with new biological and social paradigm based on Holobiont research. The conditions shaped by this symbiosis has led to a form of second Cambrian explosion, a synchronized global effort driven by both communities and governments, nurturing ecological and social regeneration. The Holobiont Garden of 2030 was one of the first physical manifestations of this tech and tech symbiosis. Here we gathered to tend to the microbes, plants and fungi growing here, enrich our own depleted microbiomes, and write recipes for livable futures.
We listed the conditions for continued multi-species surviving and thriving.
All living entities are holobionts, and our systems reflect this multi-species, multidimensional realities.
Justice and equality are at the core of designing these interconnected systems.
Traditional ecological knowledge and digital technologies work in symbiosis.
Public spaces, ceremonies, and social practices centered around food as medicine are nurtured as part of the development. Now we follow the story of Senna, who became one of the first microbiome stewards of a Holobiont pharmacy garden in London. In 2025, they moved from their hometown in northern Italy and were looking for jobs that would be a way to connect with people in the local area.
They hadn't heard of microbiome stewarding a few years back, but had increasingly interested in the microbial realm after the Silent Microbiome Crisis protests that erupted internationally in 2025. These protests were sparked by a series of reports by the Microbial Justice Working Group outlining the effects of socio-economic status on microbiomes.
These groups had directed their attention to the Sustainable Development Goals and had new targets added: access to symbiosis with diverse microbiota and protect global microbiodiversity.
Following this, access to a diverse microbiota quota was deemed a right, and governmental funding began to flow into healthcare initiatives, such as more accessible microbiome testing at GPs and prescriptions for pre- and probiotics, soil contact time plans, and medicinal foods. State-funded training in microbiome stewarding became available, leading to jobs in pre- and probiotic gardens connected to pharmacies.
In 2028, microbiomania was dubbed a buzzword. The already emerging microbially focused health and wellness industry boomed even further. Research institutes and startups continued the race to discover and patent microbial cultures, which were consequently stored and made purchasable in biobanks. This led to further action from the Microbial Justice Group and Silent Microbiome Crisis protesters, who demanded their presence in the Holobiont Pharmacy Gardens to overlook democratization and accessibility of microbiodiversity in healthcare systems. New collaborations between them and technologists were foundational in establishing the Holobiont Gardens initiative.
The first Holobiont pharmacy garden was built in a polluted part of London in a square between empty office buildings, nearby to its connected pharmacy. New occupations and jobs, in particular in ecological restoration, regeneration and care work, emerged. The initiatives to build Holobiont Gardens, which accompany existing pharmacies, provided work opportunities where the microbiome stewards would tend to the probiotic surfaces and location-specific medicinal plants growing.
As Senna approaches the Holobiont Pharmacy Garden today, December 15th, 2033, sculptural tentacles reach out, the colours of their biomaterial mosaics lit up in a visual configuration with data from the sensors in the soil, translated with AI to show the current microbial diversity in the garden's soil and the influence of the human and non-human visitors. The Holobiont Gardens use their own encrypted network to store and share the data of which the microbial communities are being cultivated in the soil and the user's guts. In 2029, the microbial biohack scandal had pushed them even further in the direction of creating their own knowledge base, after the global microbiobank became a target for extracting rare microbial cultures.
Senna checks in on the probiotic nursery, their favorite area in the Holobiont Garden. This shrine-like assemblage of biomorphic shelves and crevices is home to billions of microbes thriving in moist soil substrate. Traditional ecological knowledge combined with new holobiont metabolism research guides urban dietary choices, incorporating a rich tapestry of locally sourced, plant-based and fermented foods that support a resilient and balanced gut ecosystem.
Over the years, the gut microbiomes of stewards in the Holobiont Gardens become more and more vibrant and diverse, bubbling away. These microbial communities are generational legacies of foodscapes and politics, which have been metabolized in the digestive tract. They have transformed from communities high in mucus-loving bacteria, typical of an industrialized gut, to highly biodiverse communities, flourishing with species such as Bifidobacterium and Prevotella.
At the end of the week in the Holobiont Garden, the microbiome stewards, locals, associated pharmacists and politicians, as well as members of groups such as the Microbial Justice Group, are invited to come together for a ceremonial dinner. It's a communion of species in a pharmaceutical garden, soft scaffolds of nutrition exchange, cellular behaviors and genetic expressions, influxing dialogues across bodies of the garden, across the earth.
By 2035, metabolic pathways of the human microbial holobiont have now been mapped in digital dynamic networks, with taste and flavour as one of the many diagnostic forms of continuous healing. At this point, over 20 Holobiont Gardens have been integrated globally into urban and rural sites in need of increasing micro and macro biodiversity.
The system of tracking microbial depletion, facilitating resource distribution, and supporting physical implementation is built on digital networks and technologies combined with traditional ecological knowledge and the core value of environmental microbial justice. While post-industrial landscapes, cities, and guts are still healing, we tend to the gardens, seeding gratitude into every cycle we nurture, weaving threads to become new and ancient resilient webs. Thank you.